Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to the three thumbnail styles that attract clicks like candy. We're going to talk more about thumbnails today. And we have a special guest that'll be with us in just a moment. But today we are talking about different thumbnail styles. So we talked yesterday about the six things that you need to do with your thumbnails. So the six kind of rules or keys to having a thumbnail. And so that is no matter what kind of thumbnail you're creating, these rules apply. And it's things like making sure that you're evoking emotion or curiosity and making it as simple as possible and using 7 words or less. If you want to see the whole list, go and watch that video from yesterday. But today we're going to talk about the three styles of thumbnails. And um, I'm going to compare it to going into a candy store. So I always like to use analogies, and today's analogy is going to the candy store. So I want you to imagine that either you or a kid, depending upon your jam, I'm all about going to the candy store personally. If you love the candy store, or you'd be willing to go and look at all the cool candy, go ahead and drop a hashtag candy in the comments because I would love to see this, how entertaining you are. So imagine you're going to the candy store and let's say you go with two friends. One of you is going to grab the Sour Patch Kids because they've got an attitude, right? So maybe you're a little bit sour, you got to have a Sour Patch Kid. One of you is going to grab a Gobstopper because you love the idea of it's changing throughout the experience, right? This is like the never ending. You get all the different flavors, all the different colors. That's your jam. And one of you is going to be like, do you see this ginormous Hershey bar? I have to get the biggest chocolate bar in the entire world. And that's going to be the one that you pick. And so just like there's different candy for different flavors, there's different styles of thumbnails for different types of videos or different audiences. So when you look at my channel, you're going to see a lot of this first type, and that is the subject plus text. So in this analogy, we're going to call this the Sour Patch Kids, okay? So the subject plus text is kind of like the one that you think of as like the standard kind of style, and you literally just are going to have text and there's a subject. On my channel, that subject is typically me, okay? So this is a very popular style. A lot of YouTubers use this style. A lot of business owners use this style. It's also the one that is going to be the easiest to use AI to create most of the time. Sometimes if you're like an e-commerce owner, like our guest is, you may be using the subject is your product. That is still a subject plus text, okay? You have a subject, whatever that is, and then you have text. Those are the two pieces of it. It's kind of like the basic what you would see. So that's kind of like the attention grabber. It's the one that everyone knows and uses. And you can associate it with a lot of different channels. And that's sort of the same thing as like Sour Patch Kids, because they're always like the ornery kids in the commercials and they're loud and whatever, right? So then the second one is going to be more like the gobstopper. It's something that changes throughout. So you are actually illustrating this change on this type of thumbnail. And this type of thumbnail is often split in two. So you'll have like a line or a divider of some kind, or it might even be split into three. And it's showing different parts of something that's going to happen. So you'll often see this like someone will be like 2024 and it'll be like this terrible, awful slope with no sales. And there'll be 2025, it'll be like this uptick of how amazing 2025 is compared to 2024. And the story is, what did you do different? I need to know what you did, right? Or there are channels, I don't know why I didn't pull up thumbnails to show you guys. I'm sorry, this is a total failure, but hopefully you understand what I'm talking about. There are channels that are like a before and after, where like the one that always comes to mind is there's this picture from, oh, now I can't remember what the name of that channel is, but they have like a sponge on one side. It's literally like a dish sponge. And then on the other side, they have what's clearly still the sponge, but it's covered like with icing and sprinkles and stuff. And the story is they're going to disguise the sponge and give it to someone as a piece of cake. So that was the whole point of it. And so it's a very interesting thumbnail. And you're like, okay, there's a story here. This is going to be something that's going to change as I'm watching the video. I need to know the punchline. And so I call this type of thumbnail a tell the story thumbnail. Mr. Beast is very well known for using this style of thumbnail. A lot of his things show like a before and an after. Or they might show like, here's everybody in this color, and then there's this one guy standing alone, right? So this is tell a story. And then the last one is like that giant candy bar, right? That giant Hershey bar, because it towers over everything else. It's a thing that like stands out. It's like showing size. So if you compare this ginormous Hershey bar to the tiny snack size Hershey bar, there's this huge contrast. And so I call this style of thumbnail get perspective. So you'll see this a lot of times with channels where they're like showing there was a lot of videos for a while of people getting the biggest pizza. So like there's one thumbnail that I can think of, and I can't think what the channel's name is right now, but he had this one slice of pizza on top of his tiny little car, and the pizza was bigger than his car. So that is showing how big the pizza is because it's as big as the car. You'll also see this when they do those shots where they're really high in the sky. And there's one in particular that I can think of where they have they're on a skyscraper and the people are teeny tiny on the top of the skyscraper. And so it's like showing like how little they are compared to everything around them. And so get perspective is all about showing how big or how little something is, or how many or how few of something there are. There's a tech guy who does a lot of these. So he might show a wall of like a million cell phones. And it's like, there's so many different cell phones. I'm going to do a review on every single one. And so typically the way that I look at the thumbnails and when I'm trying to decide which thumbnail to use, it's going to have a lot to do with what your subject is. Although there are certain people that like to use a specific type of thumbnail also. So for me, I would look at it as these are the three types, and I would default to looking at the last two first. So the tell a story and the get perspective, and see if either of those could apply to what you're doing. If they don't apply, then you fall to your old standby, which is subject plus text. And so this is how you can kind of think about it. The other thing, if you are doing what we talked about a few days ago, which is to make your thumbnails before you write your script or before you record, going through this step actually forces you to think about what you're talking about from a different perspective. So if you're like, okay, I'm going to talk about whatever it is there any way that I can show how big it is or how small it is or how many there are or how few there are? That's going to force you to really think about your subject in a different way, which can actually improve your thumbnail, but also your script, also your delivery and your video. And guess what happens when you do that? You actually end up with a better video that's going to get more people to pay attention. And then if you think, okay, now what I can't do get perspective, that doesn't work for this particular thing. What about tell a story? Is there a before and after that I can illustrate in the thumbnail? And by forcing yourself to tell that before and after story or think about it, suddenly your video again is going to be better because now you're going to emphasize that before and after to follow through and deliver on what you said your thumbnail was going to be, right? Your thumbnail says what your video is going to be. So by thinking through these different styles of thumbnails, you can actually improve your video, but only if you do it before you make your transcript and before you record. And so if you want more details about that, go back. I think it was 3 days ago. We talked about why you need to have your thumbnail done before you record. So that is today. So the three thumbnail styles that attract clicks like candy are get perspective, tell a story, and subject plus text. Now that's an Elise terminology. You won't see that anywhere else, but you get the idea. These are the three that you're going to kind of play with when you're thinking about what to do for your videos. So what's your takeaway? You want to be thinking about what style of thumbnail you want to use and pick a style that's going to best represent what you're talking about. One of the best ways to do that is to think about each thumbnail style to see if it applies to your content. Call to action this week. Choose one video and redesign the thumbnail thinking from one of the other styles. So if you're constantly using subject plus text, do you have a video that would actually work really well as a tell a story or as a get perspective? Do that. Change it out, see what happens. Okay, so I haven't been looking at the chat at all. So if you're watching me live, give me a hashtag live. I'm going to come over and look at the chat. Michelle, I see you. Patricia, I see you. Thank you so much. Michelle says she loves candy, so we can go to the candy store the next time we see each other. That's the jam. Of course, you're going overseas, so I don't know when that would ever be. But give me a hashtag live, hashtag replay, depending on when you're watching. And just a reminder what's happening, because you don't want to miss out on this giveaway that is happening on the 28th. So November is my birthday month. I always do a big to-do. And this year, I decided to do a mini training every single day to help you grow your business. There is a link in the description of this video and in the chat that says day number 18 giveaway entry. Click on that link and go fill out the form. Yes, I know it looks like the same form for every other day, but it actually gives you more and more entries the more times you enter. So that particular link is only available for 24 hours. So go fill it out right now so you don't forget, and then make sure to come back tomorrow so you can get another entry. What is the giveaway for? It is for my Video Biz cohort, which is my favorite thing that I do because I get to actually help you in a group setting, answer your questions every single week, give you all of my courses, go and sneak into your platforms and things and fix things for you and do things for you. And it's my favorite thing because I get to constantly help everybody. And we would love to have you join us to get accountability, support, and someone to actually help you with growing your business instead of just letting it sit there and trying to do all the things and never really making progress. And to that end, I do have a special guest today, and she is going to come on and share how amazing I am, because otherwise I wouldn't have invited her. And first, before she does that, I'm going to give her a chance to introduce herself. So, Melissa, if you want to step to the stage, let me unpin myself. There you
Shoot,
are.
get the camera in the right spot here.
All
That's a
right, so
little
this
bit
is
better.
my good friend Melissa Pickle, and she is going to tell you what she does, how awesome she is, and then she's going to say how awesome I am.
We just have a team of full awesome going on here. And by the way, Elise, talking about the candy store, it's like I want one of those giant supersized Reese's. I think that sounds amazing.
Right? Yes,
Like the one the size of
100%.
your head. That's the Reese's I want to get. You're making me hungry. All right. So my name is Melissa Pickle. I am a jewelry designer. I am the owner of Metals and Pieces, where I transform spent bullet casings into badass jewelry pieces for badass women. So there we go for what I do. I have known Elise for years. Actually, now that I think about it, we've probably known each other for 10 years.
Yeah, I think so.
Back to the old days. And at least you were the first person that I actually looked at as like, oh my God, that person actually doesn't just talk about computer shit and website shit and YouTube shit. Well, this is pre-YouTube shit that I knew you and everything, but actually walks the walk instead of just talking about it, and you knew what you were doing. So I was like, I'm gonna have a website. Oh shit, handling a website. It was kind of the situation I was in back then. Lovely old WordPress. And Elise was offering audits and help on like, what in the world am I doing wrong here? Of all the gazillions of ways and things I'm doing wrong. And Elise was able to look at the website and be like, okay, it's not a crash and burn, destroy it all and rebuild, Melissa. It's like if you fix like three things right here, things will improve for you. And guess what? They did. I actually still have that audit call on my desktop. I was going through the other day, like trying to clean some off my desktop, and I'm like, oh, I can't delete it yet. Okay. The memories. So Elise is someone, and I know she gets mad when I was like, someone who understands the numbers and makes the numbers artist friendly. But she is. She has a way of looking at data and processes and everything and figuring out what hole you need to plug to have the biggest benefit going on in your business. And I love her dearly for that.
And I mean, it's something that I really enjoy doing too, which is important, I think.
I know, because we still talk weekly.
Every single
10
week,
years.
yes. Okay, so I know we've known each other for a really, really long time, but is
hmm
there anything that when you first started working with me or since we've worked together that surprised you about working with me?
I think your level of energy, and I can remember you asking me this question the very first time that we did a call, and you were surprised. I don't remember what my answer was that day, but you were surprised because most people say your hair, and that did not surprise me at all. No, I think it goes down to like when you think about tech people and process people and the wizards who know how everything works, you don't necessarily think of high energy, entertaining, fun, and actually speaking real English instead of techno babble. But that I think was the first thing to surprise me about you, Elise.
Well, thank you. Yeah, the techno babble is definitely not my friend. I very much try to keep everything on like normal people speak whenever I talk. Okay. I don't actually know what else I want to ask you. So is there anything
Okay.
else that you wanted to say? So let's do this. So the whole point of this month
hmm
is that I am doing this giveaway and we're doing little mini trainings. So I know
Awesome.
that you're not in my cohort, but I
True.
often talk to you about things that we're doing in the cohort.
hmm
If there was someone that was considering working with me or was thinking about doing YouTube or whatever the thing is, and they like you were going to talk to them and tell them why they should work with me, what would you say?
Well, if I had someone that I knew that was trying to get into YouTube, they didn't know where to start, because I always consider like you're amazing for that spot right there and doing YouTube for your business, not as like a general influencer or content creator, but for a business. So YouTube to a purpose, which is so wonderful. Um, I would be recommending you straight up because you're someone who, if people just follow the directions and you break the processes down so ridiculously simple and so bite-sized, if people just take that little bite every day, my God, the channels that they can build. And I say that knowing that most people, including myself, do not take those bite-sized actions every day. But if you were brave enough to do it, oh my God, the channels you would build. But that's gotta be the thing I love you because you're not taking people through YouTube as in this massive behemoth of a thing to do, as far as like channel setup and the videos and the production quality and the scripting and everything else. No, you knock it down to the simplest, most minimum thing needed to have a successful YouTube channel, and that's the beauty of working with Elise. Did that sentence make sense?
100%. I'm on board.
Okay.
I've got it. Okay, well, I always say that this isn't going to last more than 15 minutes, and we're at 16 minutes, so we have to call it
Oh,
quits. But Melissa, I want to say
that
thank you so
always
much.
happens with me.
I want to say thank you so much for coming on and sharing with everybody. If anybody has any questions about the cohort or about thumbnails, or you just have a generic question about tech that you'd really like to ask, feel free to drop those in the comments because I often do videos as a response to questions. Which is one of the reasons we went live twice yesterday was because I was answering someone's question. So drop your questions in the chat. I'm so glad that we could deliver our dreams together every single day, and I hope that you will join us tomorrow where you can get another giveaway entry and learn a little bit more about thumbnails. Bye. Okay, we are off.
I was gonna